Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video number 381, Helluvaboss Occult Analysis. This is something that I have been asked about a surprising number of times. Helluvaboss is an animated series by Vivziepop and is quite interesting. Thankfully, in total coincidence when I was setting this up, actually there's going to be a new episode in a couple of days. As of this weekend, the next one is being released, and apparently the now legendary and notorious backlog is due to multiple episodes being worked on at once. So, you know, it's forgivable, although could have rushed out a teaser or something like that, you know, some weeks or months ago. Anyway, it's time to give an occult analysis of this particular show. A lot of it is just like, it's an animated series, so it's fictional. Very entertaining. I really like the musical score so far. I like the plot line. The characters are funny. It's deeper and better than virtually any comparison that I could make in the contemporary sense. I don't know quite what I would compare it to, actually. There are some elements that kind of are like a Mr. Pickles deal, although not really. Has a Metalocalypse feel at some points, actually. But it's also got sort of like the Family Guy sort of feeling at times, like with some of the more emotional plots that go on between the characters that go beyond the slaughter, the deliberate blasphemy, the very, very funny and irreverent quips, sometimes political in nature. And I like the series overall, but one thing that people need to understand is that a lot of the references in there are authentically occult. The Ars Goetia, for example, is a book. Stolas as a demon, although Stolas is subjugate in demonology writ large, like as in like Renaissance or Enlightenment era demonology, which you're getting this from. He's one of the particular demonic entities within the Ars Goetia, so he doesn't actually probably own a copy because that would be pointless. Going beyond that, though, it's very, very intriguing. There are a lot of mimetic details in here. I do like that Stolas particularly was the demon that was chosen as being one of the main protagonists within the series. I'm not going to lie. Long story short, the series follows the meanderings, and the plot does meander some from episode to episode, of a group called Imp, which is comprised of, predictably, imps, led by one named Blitz, the O is silent, who kill humans in the world on behalf of clientele in hell. So somebody's been aggrieved by somebody upstairs, and they send these demons to go kill them. In order to gain access to the upper world, Blitz ended up fucking Stolas, actually, and stealing his book, which then later, it's not 100% sure how this pans out, Stolas appears to have no problem with them using it as long as they're doing it in a subtle manner. Subtle is not necessarily the manner in which they always accomplish the things that they're wishing to do. You should definitely watch the fucking series from pilot to the recent episode and await the one this weekend. By the way, same creator as Has Been Hotel. That became one hell of a meme, although there's only one episode of it, so I don't know exactly where that one is going. I've got no fucking clue. But Stolas is a real demon. And speaking as someone who has literally interacted with this particular entity, like in an interpersonal manner, and done work for it, and I do use the term it. If you go back to the meaning of daimon in the original pagan context, you're not talking about incepted gendered demons. You'd also be talking about ghosts or ideas. The linguistics of ancient Greek are a little bit different from their transmogrification. Here's my opinion. I think that Stolas would be absolutely overjoyed. Number one, for getting the attention. A lot of people who never would have noticed this particular being all of a sudden speaking about him and wearing apparel that has his face on it, although it's not exactly how I saw this particular daimonic entity in my experience, and I have physically seen Stolas as a child. I think there would be pleasure involved. I think the idea of wrapping it up in humor, but you've got that sort of authentically occult core, actually, is a good touch, and, you know, it shows a little bit more of a complex side of the nature of a demon as well. Again, in the original sense, a demon is not a horned red man with a pitchfork stabbing sinners next to a crater of lava. This is a transmogrification from far later in Christendom. It doesn't have anything to do with the original context of these entities. I would point out, if you look at the Ars Goetia, or Goetia, you can pronounce it either way, by the way. If you look at this particular text and similar texts that involve demons, a hell of a lot of them are based on pagan entities. They're effectively, it is Beelzebub, it is Baal. Now I'll explain. A Baal was a local pagan deity, something that was venerated in a tribal sense. This was common in antiquity. Prior to the rise of empires and the more standardized religious forms, oftentimes each tribe, each village, etc., they had their own sort of way of worship. This even remains through high antiquity. If you're looking at ancient Greece, here's the temple of Dionysus, here's the temple of Artemis, here's the temple of Zeus, etc., etc. There were different cults, there were mystic movements, etc. It was a panoply of different groups. It continues through ancient Rome up until they decide to standardize their religious practice, proto-standardization with emperor worship actually, and then transference into Judeo-Christianity. So that's what Baal is. It's effectively a tribal entity. When you read the Ars Goetia or any of these other texts, keep that in mind, that what you're effectively looking at is a transmogrification of pagan powers and their attributions with regards to what they can teach you. And there are some subtle clues in a lot of grimoires that there is coded symbolic language involved. And I don't just mean hidden writing in the sense of Trithemius or something like that. It's very much the case with others. In some cases, it's literally a practical joke. Look at the Grimorium Verum sometime. Do you actually believe that when the dude is taking the dead man's head, stuffing beans into its eyes and ears and burying it in the crossroads in order to be approached by a demon that'll offer him liquor, do you really think that his buddies weren't off in the woods behind the bushes fucking staring at him and laughing their asses off? Oh my god, look at this kook. That's yeah, that was certainly a thing. It's a form of 1700s humor especially. I don't fucking understand it, but it's actually real if you read some of these texts. Just look at the fucking Petit Albert if you want the greatest example. Anyway, I think Stolas would be rather pleased actually with the tendencies of this particular series. Speaking as someone who has actually met the bastard, I think that he's pleased, and I'm very, very pleased too. Did order a shirt actually with Stolas on the front. I don't know exactly when it's supposed to come, but I'll be wearing it proudly when it does. 10 out of 10, highly recommended series, and yes, there are actual occult inclusions here. While everyone else is off worrying about whether Harry Potter is going to make your kid worship the devil, or whether it's sexist or not, or trans-exclusionary, you've actually got material like this that has an authentic spiritual edge in it of some sort or another. And is always very highly entertaining, so keep them coming. I'll keep watching, trust me. Probably watched the last episode 5 times at this point. That's about all. Peace out.